right, welcome back to Happy Hour, everyone. If you're a regular viewer of this show, you know nearly every small business owner who comes on says banks aren't lending, and that's keeping them from doing good business. So enter there, you saw President Obama freshly awoken from that Massachusetts election setback, making a push to have Congress expand two Small Business Administration lending programs. One would increase the cap on express loans from the current max of $350,000 to $1 million. And the other would help with refinancing commercial property. All right, joining us with his take on this latest idea to get the economy going is Ring of Fire radio host and Gannett News columnist Mike Papantonio. All right, Mike, I set it up there nicely for you.
You did.
Is it going to work? Hey, is this going to satisfy the business owners who come on Happy Hour and say, we need money?
It should make them happy. At last, Obama's talking like a populist again, like he did back before he was elected. Here's the great move. The good thing about this is we all know small business is the backbone of the U.S. economy. It fuels the economy. Look at history between 80s and the 90s. Almost 50% of all jobs were generated by mom and pop store on the corner. That's where the jobs were, that's where they came from. Now, unfortunately, here's the problem. There's a money grab that you're going to see by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. That's where the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, who says they're a mom-and-pop organization, really isn't. The people they represent are Exxon, Pfizer, Merck, all the big companies.
Mike,
but
stay on point here. Stay on point. The question was, is this going to work? Is this SBA program going to work? Please.
Yes,
and by the way, for the record, you're saying finally he's doing something right. You've been defending this guy every step of the way. Every program he's made, you come on here and say, this is great. This is really going to spur employment.
Man,
here we are.
You're hearing words I've never spoken, but let me just tell you this.
Come on, Pat.
What I'm saying is he's talking like a populist again. And you know what? The heart of the problem is going to be the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Eric, like it or not, 23% of this money is supposed to go to small business. When it's all over, you look at the times the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has come in dressed up like mom and pop and sucked all that money up. It has to really go to small business, and it will work. $80 billion is just a start.
Pat, the problem is that populism doesn't want the government lending to elite small businesses any more than they want them lending to elite big businesses that the Chamber of Commerce might like. Populists want the law enforced. They do not want landowners, business owners, or anybody else propped up on welfare dollars. Who gets to decide which businesses is getting that money?
Let me tell you this. We have propped up Wall Street welfare to the tune of $500 billion.
So let's prop up other rich guys?
They promised small business that they were going to lend money to mom and pop. And you know what? The first thing they did, they loaned all the money to Exxon and Pfizer and Merck and everybody except mom and pop.
When you say they, who are you speaking of?
Who is they?
You just said they lent Wall Street. I think
it comes down to the
your president, your left president, your Democrat president has been there for 6
Oh, my God, he's been there a year. Wait a second, guys. He's been there a whole year. He can reverse the disaster that your GOP Wall Street left us after 8 years. He can do that in a year. He's a magician. He's brilliant.
Let's try to get something done, because people at home get really frustrated, as everybody here is, about just as round in circles about all this politics. We want to focus on the SBA lending program. I mean, we have guests here, and they're saying, hey, we need this money. Hold on.
They do.
The problem, though, as Cody brings up, is balancing that with the fact that people also want deficit reduction. Now here we go, giving more money to a government agency. So how do you make sense of that?
First of all, you have to believe that before you have deficit reduction, you have to put money into the economy where we can pay for that deficit. Right now, none of that money has gone back into the economy. It's gone in the street. It's gone in the pockets of Wall Street fat cats. Obama realizes that
since you're creating money for the economy and fix everything, as I wrote on my blog the other day, can you just create some extra time for me, too? Just start printing time, printing money. It's the same difference anyway, Mike. You got it all figured out. We'll pay it back someday.
I wish we could go back in time and reverse the disaster that's been brought to us for 8 years. When the Democrats inherited $11 trillion deficit.
There's the 8 years of failed Bush policy. Here we are. We're a year and a month
into Obama. You want me to say? You want me to dress it up and say everything was wonderful? It wasn't. It was a disaster, and you have to acknowledge that when you talk about things like small business.
Antonio, there's one alternative that, for some reason, you liberals just can't get in your head, and it's cut spending. It's not spend more to try and spend our way out of a bad economy, bad unemployment.
Put us in wait a second.
Spending.
Put us in 2 wars, bail out your buddies on Wall Street, put us in 2 wars, and you're going to tell us we're going to cut spending? Get us out of the wars. We can cut spending. But that's a Republican issue. That's a Republican issue. That's not a Democratic issue.
They're not going to be able to agree on it. They can't even agree on a jobs program.
Pat, bottom line, are you sitting here telling me that a liberal actually wants the government to give a bunch of welfare money to business owners? That's your liberal approach to this problem?
No, you know what? Hey, Cody, you know what? There's a big difference between the U.S. Chamber of Commerce kind of business and the mom-and-pop business who sells things on the street corner. Big difference. Because small business, wait a second, you asked a question.
I'm sorry, Mike, guys, we got to stop. We're getting wrapped. Coming up against a hard break. Papantonio, I'm going to see you tomorrow morning on Bulls and Bears, Papantonio.
I'll see you, my friend. Thanks a lot.